Could part of the problem be for couples, to your point, is that it's not necessarily the person has changed. Maybe your perception and the expectations of them have, and that's why it's creating you some problems because you don't know how to resolve the two.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, it goes to a core thing, and that is your identity. Your identity changed. Before you got married, before I said I do, I'm free. I'm just a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever the relationship is. And after I do, I am a husband and or I am a wife. And that comes with a job description that was never discussed between the two. They didn't even know what their spouse is going to hold them to. They have an idea of what a husband should be, and the other person has an idea of what the wife should be. But that job description is so wide that when they start getting into real situations where that identity has to take the lead, they are disappointed because they didn't see that coming. Of course, you couldn't see that coming because they just became that person. They just, put that, title on their lapel and say, I am husband, I am wife. And how they act and react was never, rehearsed. They don't know. They themselves wouldn't know how to react in the new setting as a husband and as a wife. So everything becomes kind of with a question mark. And I realized that a lot of people, after they get married, just within a month or so, there's a big blow up, or maybe 3 months. It depends. And that blow up is exactly that. They don't know why they're fighting. They might say, well, he changed, she changed, whatever those words that are so ambiguous, they don't really pinpoint any actual problem. But it is that to a degree. And that is, oh, that person took on a new identity and, from my perspective, did not rise up and meet that identity in a certain situation or in a reoccurring situation, be it between the two of them at home or in relation to the outside world or to the community. Expectations are one thing, and the reality clashes with it.
It reminds me of like those who would suffer from like an identity crisis. Who am I? Right?
Yeah.
What do I want to be? Because you in a relationship will always be a different person than who you were before it. And I wonder then, to your point, how many people struggle with coming to terms that, okay, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I need to communicate what that means to me, and I need to have that person communicate what that means to them. What do you think are some of the obstacles when it comes to the communication piece in that situation where it's like, okay, this is what I expect, this is my perception of it, what is yours, and let's see if we can come together and build this.
So again, maybe I'm going way back. If I don't answer a question, please offer it again, and I'll try to answer it. But identity is formed two ways. One is that you present the identity that you think that you are at that point, and it needs the other side to accept that identity and treat you according to it. Let's say I go um, to a grocery store and I ask the person who is working there of something. They will help me. My identity is customer, and their identity is to sell me. So they are there to sell me, whatever the identity, specific identity within it. But if I go and I see somebody who's wearing a blue shirt was in a place that they usually wears, and I ask him for help, and it turns out that he doesn't work. The identity that I expected of him is that he works there. So I'm treating him as such. And he's responding by being confused because he doesn't work there. And his identity that we are one and the same. We're both customers. That's maybe simplistic example of identity formation, but it is on each and every level. And sometimes we're not aware that we're taking on these different identities throughout the day. You wake up, you go to work. In the car, you're a driver. That is your identity. And that requires a driver's license and a car. It has a whole setup. There are traffic lights. You have to stop. There is an expectation because that's your identity in that moment. At work, you're a worker. You're a doctor, you're a patient. All of those things you are easily, you move between them quite easily. But when you go from never married to married, you really don't know how to act in there because you have only a few models. Maybe your parents, and a lot of parents are divorced now. So, you know, and each, couple is different anyways. So you have all of those challenges. And once you figure it out, once you think that you figured it out, does your spouse have the same requirement and expectation for that identity? And if you don't meet his expectation or her expectation, then you are really not that person yet. Even if you're doing it, you think you're doing it right. They're the second part. They are the one that validate or accept your identity. And if they don't, then you don't have that identity. You're not a good husband. Even if you're doing what you think is an ideal, you're going above and beyond. It doesn't matter. It's like, what do they think that a husband should be? And if that doesn't meet what you're doing, then there's a breakdown. But then again, you move through life, and each time you have a new thing, you get a new job, a new title, your identity keeps changing and it affects all of your other identities.